Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this lovely live stream with me today, Not Porky. On the left of I've got Not Mike, not Mick, not Mike.
Important. It was very
important.
What does that stand for?
I don't know. I'm not going to go in on that. And I'm joined by Osborne, and on my right I've got JD.
Not hosting this week, thank goodness.
No, but I think there's only one reason for that. Because we've got this beautiful Christmas jumper, which is going on pre-sale on the 14th of November at 10 AM GMT. Limited stock, I've been told as well. So if you want this beautiful jumper, it's great for in Christmas time. It's quite hot on the sofas here. Yeah. That's the reason you've been.
I love that you matched the glasses.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. I was like,
it's like coordinated.
Absolutely. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's what
you're a fashionable man.
I will give you a fiver if you can continue to wear that for the entire live stream because it's going to get really warm.
I think it's one of the things people don't know, isn't it? It's like we get baked slowly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like jacket potatoes.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You're also making me look dull.
I know, yeah. But you've got a nice gaming shirt. I quite like that. I like Portal. Anyways, if we're going to continue like this, it's going to take for ages. Quick rundown on things. We'll be following up the Monetisation live stream from last week. We'll go into the activities pet blog and we want to do next with that. And we'll start talking a bit about Herblore. And last but not least, we'll talk a bit about the Java client, Sunset, and everything we're working on with that. We would love to have one on the couch as well. But instead of Osborne, he sadly has a family emergency. So I hope everything is okay there. We hope to see him again soon. Let's go back to last week's live stream. We talked about monetization. If you've not watched it, definitely watch it afterwards. I think it's good, gives a lot of insight. And out of that live stream, we had a couple of, so to speak, sound bites of things that we've had a lot of feedback and comments on. And I'd like to go back to these and see if we still feel about them the same or how we want to approach it. So one of the first ones was if we could have non-cosmetics roles and we responded with something on the lines of this is drab, we don't think players would want this. You said that. I'd like to dive a bit deeper into that.
Yeah.
And if you're able to elaborate a bit more on that.
Yeah, of course. Drabgate.
Drabgate. Do you like it?
I noticed you've worn as little colour as you possibly could do today as well, Mike.
I don't think he's got it in his wardrobe. I think players are spot on there, unfortunately.
I should have dyed my hair orange. Okay. I do think cosmetics are a really important part of the game. And if it came across as being dismissive last time, then that's my bad, and I'm sorry about that. What I meant was that I think it's an important part of how players express themselves through the avatar in RuneScape, and it adds to the vibrancy of the world. So I would like to see more cosmetics in the game, just delivered in a way that players are happier with. And that's also what a lot of players have been saying. So there's a bit of a conflict. If we're saying, we want more cosmetics, do more cosmetics on, whether it's Treasure Hunter or Solomon's Store, but at the same time, asking whether it's possible to turn them off. I think there's a bit of a conflict there. So it's probably, not something we're pursuing at the moment. But I didn't want to be dismissive about it because a lot of players have asked for that in the past, and a lot of people have suggested it in the past. So, yeah.
I mean, I think it's.
Does that answer it a bit better?
Yes, I can imagine there being a conflict between the two. On one side, saying like, we'll give you a world without MTX of cosmetics, but then on the other side, saying like, we want to do more with cosmetics.
Yeah. And it's not just outfits and stuff, is it? It's things like teleports and pets and all the other things that kind of just add a bit of variety.
All right. So. For me, that answers the question. So then I'd like to go on to the second. Yeah, I can't speak for everyone at home, of course,
sure.
But for me it does. I'd like to move on to the second one. JD on my right asked if we are milking our players. I don't think that was a question you were expecting in all fairness last week. And I think you gave a response, something along the lines of other companies are worse than us.
I think we got there eventually. I've got to be really careful what the first words out of my mouth are on this.
Yeah, probably.
Again, I think we express the thing about being better than other companies or not as bad as other companies is probably a bad way of putting it. So again, yeah, hands up there. You asked me a lot of difficult questions last week, or JD did. So
Sorry.
how long were we doing? Hour and a half on this?
I think it was an hour and 40, I think, which was probably about as bumper as it gets, I think, with a live stream. So
Yeah, I mean, I think what I was trying to say is I think I do want us to take more of a kind of responsible position on it and to be a kind of leader rather than just kind of following what other companies do. So, you know, we try and keep track of what's going on in other areas of the industry. We work really closely with UKI, the trade organisation for games in the UK, and we work with them to make sure we're following their recommendations and what they would advise. And I think Jagged should we've been doing this for a while, and we should take a responsible stance on this. So I'm hoping that we're going to do better at that in the future.
for our international listeners, UKI are
So the United Kingdom Interactive Entertainment.
Trade body.
Well, yeah.
That's what I just have that like outline here. But they don't only advise on these, or they don't have like best practice around this. They also talk about other issues, like I think they have.
Well, the whole thing about loot
Yeah.
crates and everything like that. So we're working really closely with them to make sure that if they're making recommendations, we're being really working together on that and cooperating with them.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Then last week, I think sadly you were not here.
I know there was a Osborne hole.
And like part of the and we mentioned on the how did you do this? We mentioned on the strategy like we've increased staff and those kinds of things. But we've struggled to get a lot of content out the past weeks.
Yeah, and I don't think I personally dodged that, or we would dodge that at all either. We wouldn't say that we have met that kind of content expectation either.
No.
Sorry.
I wanted, because you're now on the catch, you couldn't ask it last week.
No,
so
that makes
I
perfect
wanted
sense.
to ask if you're able to elaborate a bit on this and what we're going to do to address it, or
Yeah, I mean, players deserve to know, don't they? Yeah, certainly. If we were to kind of look back and retro our past 6 months about why this happened, in terms of why we had a little bit of a drought there, I think there are two things that pop up for me that are big. One of them is that we didn't really have a plan B. So we dropped out weapon diversity because it wasn't right for the game. We found that out through betas, and I think we should have done those betas. I think that was right. But there are other things like comp cape rework became smaller and less content focused. It was just fixes rather than something big that could have been lots of things to achieve. The bank placeholders became bigger. All of these things just swallowed up a lot of the time and resource that we could have been. We had a quest in there, for example, that we delayed for all of these things that we thought were right. And what we didn't have was a plan B. We didn't have contingency updates in there, and we could have done and we should have done. I'll come to how we're going to address that in a minute.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I think I'd love to have changed this year is that we had some big ideas and big things we wanted to do. We think I still stand by archaeology is a fantastic skill, and it's going to be nailing it when it comes out. I still stand by that farming in Herblore with Dino Farm, having that core loop of like everything out on one day rather than batched, so I can train my farming and Herblore at the same time and populate my Dino Farm is the right thing to do rather than squeaking it out and trying to spread it out over a course of months. But these all became bigger and bigger. They just came loaded with more and more stuff, more and more resource and development, because we didn't want to do a Slayer to 120. We didn't want to do for some people, Dungeoneering to 120, so they became bigger. And then that also created a bit of a gap. We almost accidentally went to expansions again.
Well, if you're doing t-shirt sizes, I suppose, for updates, you're looking at archaeology being what, an XL?
The biggest we could do.
Yeah,
so it's an XL.
And the 120s are probably an L to almost XL?
We started off planning for them to be an L, if you want.
Yeah.
But as we went on and it was very clear what needed to be done for it to be satisfying, it became that XL, and it just swallowed up a little bit. And those two things just pushed it apart, tectonic slip, and drift, and then in the middle we had fewer updates, and that's on us. That's really on me as well. So what we're doing next year is how we address that, and for me, I really want to win back player trust. And give real value to the subscription that you pay and all of this stuff. And one of the biggest ways of doing that is getting cadence back. And I'm really a big fan of the seats that we talked about at RuneFest. The idea of people who are dedicated to producing something every couple of months. And if we've got a few teams doing that, and it's up to 3 now. Am I okay talking about that? Is that right?
Yeah.
So at RuneFest we announced that we had a quest seat, producing quests quite regularly, and we also had a remaster seat, producing reworking the core game and making it better as a seat. We've also now got sign off on an Epic Jam seat. Okay. Which has also got kind of a ninja function as well. But they're looking to finish the stuff that came out of Epic Jam, so they don't just sit there and languish like they have in the past. So you can imagine, obviously, the first thing we want to do with that is PVM Hub and get that out there as soon as possible. So they'll be spinning away, but that means we've ring-fenced them, they're protected, so we can, if we do a big project, like Elder God Wars Dungeon, it doesn't hurt them, it doesn't take from them. That's what RuneScape is. We make sure we still have that like hum of stuff going through the year. We've got other stuff as well, like it goes on to activity pets a little bit. We've got contingency updates that we want.
Well, I think we've been quite ambitious as well with going for these 2 massive updates, right?
Yeah, it's just 2 big gobstoppers that stopped us being able to do other things. Yeah. We learned this from expansion, but we accidentally got there again. Let's just make sure it doesn't happen. Yeah. So I really appreciate people's patience as we get through this. But I think that in a year's time, when we look back at this, I hope that we remember it was right to do those updates as we did them, rather than, oh, do you remember that drought? Yeah.
When do the seats start to come in? So
yeah, it's worth noting. So we are doing a significant post-launch. We're allocating significant resources to post-launch for farming and Herblore and archaeology. So there's a number of people who sit there and buy the projects, not only to fix what people want, but also to add more stuff. So they're going to be spinning like afterwards. So it's going to be a little bit of time. We're talking like kind of start of December that will kick off. So really people are going to feel it in February. But of course, if you think that we've got farming Herblore, Christmas, archaeology, and then you hit February and then you're going to start feeling the seats, I'm hoping that will, you almost
will resolve itself.
Yeah, it almost feels like there hasn't been any gap.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I saw a quick question about like it's all mobile's fault. Is that something that the core experience team does? Or?
So the episodic content team produce episodic.
I keep messing it up.
Yeah, I know. Calling us other names. The episodic content team produces episodic content. We've, if anything, we have cheekily borrowed from other teams to make sure that farming Herblore is like smack on.
Cool.
So thank you to the other teams, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. That leads me on, or at least I think we've got a nice base fund, right? I'd like to move on more towards like a bit more almost strategy, you could maybe call it, or like what we want to start doing with our monetization and what are we wanting to, because we've not really put out like the things we want to focus on, I feel like a bit, and I'd like to go in that a bit more. Do you want to take it away?
Yeah. So we touched on it a little bit last week.
Yes.
But I think the things that are going to start happening the quickest that you'll notice. So there'll be a news post on Thursday, I think, when we're talking about the Premier Pass event, and we touched on that last week. But we want to make sure that again, it's about cosmetics, because players have said we do value cosmetics and we want them in the game, and addressing some of the things that we didn't do so well with it the last time we tried that. So, but at the same time, we'll also be showing some of the work that we've been doing to experiment with Treasure Hunter to find alternatives to loot crates. So this is a really important thing for us going into next year. We do want to look for, what's an alternate route that we can take. So it's not really about Treasure Hunter itself, it's about loot crates. And we recognise that that's an area of concern for a lot of players, and we definitely want to do something about that. So we're testing out how can we be more transparent, how can we reduce things like RNG, and still at the same time, offer rewards of the type that, if certain players want certain types of rewards, they can have more choice over that. Basically, it's about more control, more choice. So the first one of those type of experiments will be, you'll see that at the end of the month.
Okay.
It'll be running alongside the Premier Pass event. And then there's going to be, we're running the Advent calendar, which is the normal thing we do in December. But then immediately after that, in January, you're going to see more of these experiments. And we've got a whole bunch of new designs that we've been working with the design team on, about how we can iterate on the mechanics and try out different things. So yeah, January onwards, you'll see much more of this more frequently.
And these are all kinds of experiments, or?
Yeah, so there's different parts of it that we want to test out, but it's about finding a suitable alternative for loot crates. So that's kind of strategy part number one.
Okay.
I mean, the second bit is, it's about the value, and I think Mod Osborne just kind of alluded to it. It's about, not only the cadence of content, but, things like Premier Club, which also launches next week. We've put some additional stuff into that, so it's really valuable and great value for money. Price hasn't changed, so it hasn't gone up at all. So there'll be stuff in there, including the access to the Premier Pass as well.
Okay.
Premier Club launches on Thursday, not next week.
This Thursday, yes.
This Thursday.
Yeah, you said next
Did
week.
you say next week?
You said next week.
Really?
It's all a big blur. Sorry, got that wrong.
Loads of things going on.
We want to have a bit more focus next year as well on things like seasonal and holiday events. I know people have sort of missed Halloween and not doing so much stuff around that. So we want to get a better plan in place for that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back to the Melcosme, the Broken Home one we did.
Oh yeah,
Broken Home.
Yeah.
Best quest, my favourite quest.
Really?
Yeah, I love Broken Home.
Infuriated a lot of people,
Yeah.
but it's well made. Love it.
But I think that's going to be us. Like we might have to sort of join forces and do some stuff together. On this,
Let's do it. Yeah, all right.
And that's the other point. It's really about like how do we sync up between episodic content, live ops content, core XP content.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's something strategically we've not been maybe as lined up in the past. Is that fair? We've just been doing our own thing a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I'd say more so in recent months as we've just been kind of heads down trying to get our individual stuff done. I think we can get back to the place where we're a bit more joined up.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we want to go with it. I think I touched on it last week about the stores. So it's a big part. Probably later on, or maybe in the second half of next year, we'll have made more progress there because that's a big job there. Clean up all the currencies, get that sorted out, bring them together,
unify it a bit.
Yeah, and the stuff with the oddment store. I know sort of players
pretty good.
Been talking to us about that, and there's even suggestions that it'd be better to move stuff into that store and do that. So there'll be things happening before then. So you'll see definite changes there. But the bigger sort of full reworks, things like Solomon's and stuff like that, will come a bit later.
So I'd just like to put out almost like a warning, because it sounds very good, right? To do all these things, and we're gonna actively work on this. But does that mean we're gonna deliver, or are we planning to make active, good progress towards these, or how do you see us working towards this?
I know you'll hold me accountable, and if we don't. So yes,
it'll be good to be transparent as we do it, right?
Yeah.
I know we've got plans to.
Yeah, I think we want to share some of those designs as well.
Maybe.
Okay.
So I think we'll get those into a format where we can publish them.
We'll be talking about it going forward, and we're going to try our hardest to deliver on it. All right, that sounds good.
Cool.
I did a lovely scoop on Reddit as well after last week's Monetisation live stream, and I think there was one question in particular which I find quite interesting. I was like, that's a good question. I'd like to see that answered. Which was
yes, I do dye my hair.
That was not the question.
Why was that
thank you for sharing that.
Why was that not a question in Mythbusters? RuneFest.
I want to do that again next year. Let's do it.
Oh, okay. I'm going to do two things at the same time because I have to put my phone on airplane mode. Two phones actually. But the question was, and then I'll do it. Why is RuneMetrics not a member's benefit? I find that quite interesting.
It is.
It is, yeah. Okay, elaborate. Because I think you know what the players are referring to.
I'm not being facetious. So RuneMetrics Pro is the paid version of RuneMetrics. So RuneMetrics is available to all players, which gives you access to some features of it. The Pro version is the one that you can pay to upgrade to. Currently, there is an overhead of running that, and it's mainly in data storage. So what I mean is, it's not something I can openly make available to every player because the storage costs would just, go through the roof.
Okay.
So that's the main reason. We are looking at how we can get around that in the future, though. So there may be, other solutions to how we tackle that problem that would mean that we could, do something with it.
Okay.
It is, if you're a Premier Club member, it's a 50% discount.
Okay.
But yeah,
and you really know all those things. I didn't even know that. That's good.
Did you not know that?
I did not know that.
I'll fill you in on the details after.
Please do. I'm going to get that on my personal then. I think I'm just full fries at the moment. So.
Cool.
Stop plugging, both of you.
What? I'm genuine here.
That sounds so insincere. Stop.
All right, geez, okay, we'll just move on, shall we? I think that is everything I have regarding the monetization and the follow-up from last week.
Okay. I mean, if anybody's still got questions about anything, regarding that stuff, please, let us know. We'll try and tackle it. We've been a bit flooded with stuff. I think Mod Cam, who was hoping to be with us today as well, he's been sort of jumping in and.
It's just been a catalogue of no shows, really, isn't it? The last couple of weeks, isn't it? But sorry, Osborne.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
They can also contact you on the Discord channel.
Yeah,
that's still there.
Discord channel's there. Yeah.
And I imagine we'll
Ask
see
away.
you or Warden or whoever on the couch to talk about it in the future again.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are you going to join us for the next section as well? I love that. That's good.
In the next section.
Well, you're part of it. Great. Welcome to the couch. I just love this. I love how properly organised we are.
This is what power. This is what you did. This is what happens when Bucky has some power. This is like he goes mad with power.
He gets out his 2 burner phones and.
Yeah. Oh no, there is an interesting question actually. Why we have 2 phones? Because I have 2 phones as well.
Oh yeah.
We have work phones and personal phones.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the Lord 2 phones Brookie, which I quite liked as a middle name. But yeah, it's just to separate work from personal as well.
Yeah. CM, it's a bit of a 24-hour job sometimes, so it's nice to be able to
Stop plugging and making our jobs
to put the work phone sometimes somewhere else where you are, and then you can keep your personal phone to do what you want with it.
But then we'll move on to the activity plan.
Yeah, please, that'd be lovely.
So for those who've not read the blog, last Tuesday?
Yep.
Yes. It's all a blur for me offhand. Last Tuesday we put a blog out about activity pets and ideas for pets around activities that we could potentially release and we'd like to do. So we put out a poll with I think 8, 9 ideas?
It was 12.
12
with one, none of the above.
Oh yeah, well there's
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they ranged from like a money making pet to a area pet.
Yeah.
Season pet.
Challenges, mini games, D&Ds.
Yeah, all those
PvP.
things. And we have quite a bit of feedback on that. Some players were not a massive fan of it. Some players were like, I've got a better idea.
Yeah.
I would rather see a different pet.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being honest, the reaction was, certainly on Reddit, I would say, was reasonably negative.
I'd say lukewarm.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, obviously this is not necessarily representative of the entire community, but certainly on social, there was a lot of criticism of it, and it's completely recognised and understood, and that's what I want to do with this blog that we're talking about for the end of the week.
Yes.
So, shall I do my thing, or do you want to
go into it like,
Yeah,
so have we made changes based on the feedback that we have received?
Smooth, I like it. Yeah, so my take on the feedback is, and obviously do call me out for BS on this if it's not how players feel it, but like I feel like we've given out a lot of pets recently and a lot of players are feeling that. Obviously we only have 1 slot for a pet. So there's a deal of kind of, hey, Petscape was invoked quite a bit. Also, alongside things like Slayer Log, we have been asking players to play the same pieces of content over and over again, which is understandable. Like, there's only so many times that you can do the same Slayer task and not feel a little bit fatigued. And the other one for me was, why are you adding more new stuff in this category when some of the old stuff could do with a bit of a brush up? So in this case, hey, older pets don't have overrides. Why are you not sorting that before you bring in new pets? So all of that was like, they're all really fair points. I think that I was a little bit, I remember Combat Pets launch, and that was almost uniformly positive. It felt like there was filling a gap, and a lot of people loved that and loved the competition around it, things like that. So I thought that there would be, I mean, it wouldn't be a super hype update like archaeology, but there would be a little kind of, I fancy that. Annual survey kind of comes midway, but there was a little bit more negativity than expected, so obviously we looked at it.
Well, I think there's like the competition aspect, which is great, which hasn't kicked off yet, but I think we could potentially have highlighted that a bit more. But we've seen a lot of feedback.
Yes.
Do you want to go into what we're going to change
so the blog's going to go out on Friday to go into detail about what it is, but the things I would really love to do, or we would really love to do, is I would like to pull down the size of the update, or the new pets in the update, because really voting highlighted 3 that were higher than the others. They're a bit more runaway than the others. They were money making, they were clues, and area pets. So those are ones that really kind of clearly won.
I thought Was it not ports that caught?
No, Ports
okay,
wasn't there.
my fault then. All right.
Blues areas are money making. So those seem to run away with it a little bit. And at the same time, actually, there was a thread that was really popular that I really liked. There was one that was on RuneScore pet.
Yeah.
The idea of getting a pet for the thresholds of RuneScore, which at this point isn't RNG, so that's important as well when it comes to I have played this content, don't make me play it again.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to pull in that RuneScore pet. I'd like to put in those 3 winners, and that would be an update. But with the time that we save on doing that, I'd like to spend a bit of time on almost the kind of pet remaster.
Yeah.
And look at those old pets, those Eddies, those Effies that do not have an
Penny.
override. Sorry.
Penny.
Yeah. There are loads
All
of
of
things.
them.
I'm sure people would probably have a league of which ones they want us to look at, and look at addressing those, and also probably do some quality of life fixes on pets at the same time. There'll be a little bit of tension of how much new and how much of the old we do. I want to have it a bit of a mix so people still have something to chase. But that feels good to me. I would really like, first of all, people's feedback or people's ideas of what that quality of life stuff might be, what else we could do for pets to make them a bit more valuable, to make them less infuriating. But also, I've got one question actually for the stream that I'd love to help to answer, in that when we do these kind of overrides for your familiars, so these pets that could be overrides for your familiars or legendary pets or whatever you decide to do, there are 2 ways we could take it. One of them is that we do really bespoke new animations. So, for example, Eddie, really tall, obviously an unusual anim. We don't have that as an existing base anim, really, for attacks. Well, kind of do with the monsters, but there's some things like summon in, dismiss, die. There are a few things that could well be new. Do we create bespoke anims for those, so they all look really cool?
Yeah.
Or do we do more pet overrides? Like we could do 20, 30, almost all of them, but we have a generic attack. So, for example, a spot anim would come out of it. And so all of the pets that we have with that update, or a vast majority of them, could be overrideable, or could be overrides for your pets or familiars.
All right.
So, just to make that clear, there are 2 paths we could take. We could do like 4 or 5 loved pets and give them the attacks, dismisses, and summons that needed to make them overrides.
Yeah.
Or we could create a generic anim pack for all of our pets, so they could be overrides on all familiars.
Kind of wish we prepped a straw poll.
Yeah, I know. Back in the day, we used to do that all the time.
Yeah, I know. Looking at the chat, it looks like generic seems to be the.
That's right. Because from my perspective, if we went out with a generic, there is that danger that people would be like, well, it doesn't look that great. I think you've taken the lazy option. So I just wanted to get that sense. Maybe we poll it,
Yeah.
It's certainly an
I
option.
think I look at it as like, generally, like you walk around with your pet, right? And you want that override to show your achievement or the pet or whatever you've got.
Yeah.
And more so, it's for walking around, because if you're doing the majority of the activities, you don't always see players around you, right? So I think the appearance is more.
I don't want to make the call for the players. I don't know if the players if players that just want to see their pet out, they want to represent, hey, I've got Eddie, rather than, hey, I want to see Eddie doing all the funky stuff,
Well, let's. I mean, we've got the blog going out on Friday. Let's put that as part of the blog, shall we?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's probably worth as well. I know that from when you've been speaking to us, Osborne, you've been talking about the reasons for doing this particular update, and I suppose that's probably a really good bit of context to provide.
Yeah, because I know that a number of people would say, well, why are you doing this update at all?
Yeah.
Like there are other updates you can do, why are you still hanging on to the idea of activity pets? So one of the things we really wanted to do, and when I was talking about contingency earlier, is get ahead of ourselves and have updates in the bank, basically, so that we don't create these situations where we have no updates. Or, we've pulled out an update that's not working, put something in that does. We need to be doing that. But to get ahead of ourselves, we can't just shut down the game and not put updates out. We've already seen what that does. So what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to work with an external studio to help us produce a number of updates that get us some contingency. But you can't outsource RuneScript. RuneScript is very proprietary. It is not something that you can train particularly well in a short period of time. But there are certain kinds of updates that you can, and they're graphical or graphics heavy. And so activity pets, rewards, I won't go into too much detail because I want to keep some updates that we're looking to do this with a surprise for next year, or at least talk about them at the right time.
All right.
So it's not as easy as, well, don't do activity pets, let's do a quest. Don't do activity pets, do a boss. So I'm just trying to give you a little idea of how we're looking to address next year.
All right.
And there'll be more info on that in the coming
Yeah. Read more about it in the blog. Hear me again. See me in print.
I think some people are asking about legendary pets as well, and whether we can do something with the skills for those. And I think that is on the plan. So we'll talk about that
Cool.
That's where we need to
Once we know more about that, I guess.
But yeah, we'll tell us which skills and things you think they should have, and we'll see what we can do.
I see there was one question about the quest that was planned for the summer that didn't come out. It still exists. It's very much part of the. You could probably tell that the momentum dipped a little bit in our kind of Kerapak, Anachronia kind of storyline. That was meant to be in there and keep that going, but it's very much still there. It's just been a little bit of a collateral damage, I guess.
All right. Cool. Thank you. That marks that. And do you want to stay on for another section with Mike?
I think
It's a
I'll
short-
let someone else.
It's a short session.
right.
It was a short session.
It's a short session.
This is a very short one. I think you'll enjoy this one. Okay. Well, enjoy it.
Well, I need to go.
Well, then you can.
Is
go.
that all right?
I'll take advantage.
Oh, all right. There you go.
You need the space.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Have a good one. So you're going to stay on for this one, then?
Looks like I'm staying on.
Yeah, I was going to do everything on my own.
I mean, so the thing is, I'm here as a mod warden replacement, even though we have nothing of the similar job. So I mean, I'm here as a nice little additive thing for everybody else. So
all right, good. Shall I ask the questions to you? Otherwise, I feel like I'm
Let's go
talking
with
to
it. Let's do
myself.
it.
That would
Let's
be very
do it.
weird. Java.
yes, yes,
We had a blog last week
yep,
on Thursday.
yeah, Thursday.
Yes. Where we talked about sunsetting Java, as we'd like to call it as well. But alongside of that, it has many advantages, of course, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the, and again, unfortunately, I'm not as a very technically minded person, unfortunately. So some of what I say may well be, people upstairs might well be sort of gritting their teeth a little bit. But my understanding of Java is that it at the moment is restricting us from being able to do more exciting things with the NXT client. We have 4% of players that currently use Java.
Correct.
And it doesn't seem fair to restrict the journey of the NXT client at the expense of, say, making sure that, unfortunately, a small proportion of the community can kind of keep the client being updated, particularly because we know that some of the players who play with that 4% are the people who have perhaps tried NXT a long time ago. There have been a lot of updates to NXT in the meantime, and they haven't tried them out since. So we'd be really, I think part of this is it's not going away straight away. What we want to try and do is work with everybody, work with the people who are currently using Java to work out what the problems are that they experience, and try and put some fixes in to make sure that gaming experience is a lot better before we shut off Java. But it is coming at some point in the future. So I would recommend that if you are currently playing on the Java client, give NXT a go. If it doesn't work, I believe we've got forum threads that people can submit feedback to.
Yes, we've got a forum thread.
And the team will be looking at those, trying to make sure that, as I say, we prioritise the stuff that we see a lot of players experiencing, and hopefully get some fixes in so that everybody's NXT experience, or everybody's experience on the NXT client is as good as possible before we make the shift.
Cool. That sounds really good. And it's all to, in the end, move us forward. I know it's something that a lot of our community has asked for. They were like, just get rid of Java.
I mean, actually, like we saw I think we saw a thread on Reddit that got quite a lot of
I think it was the
traction.
day before
the day before we put the blog out, and it did feel a little bit like, so we are. I know it's a small microcosm sometimes of the community, but it does feel like that. This feels like the right decision, and as I say, what we can try and do in the meantime is try and make sure that those who are currently playing on the Java client are as supported as they possibly can be in order to make the change, whether it be right now or when we do shut off the client in the foreseeable future.
Cool. Sounds good. Anything to add regarding it?
Nothing much,
just read
really.
The news post if you
read the news
That's
post.
What I've got.
There's info on there. There's a couple of fun, exciting things as well that are mentioned in that blog as well around things like smooth movement, which hopefully there'll be a bit more info in the next few weeks about.
Yeah, that is looking good though.
Yeah. I saw the reaction at RuneFest was great, and I really look forward to being able to kind of get some people on the PCs showcasing it out for people for you guys at home.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Cool. I'm going to head off as well now, so you're going to be left by
yourself. I'm gonna try and get £5 of you.
So
I'm already halfway there, so it should be fine.
Love you and leave you both.
Look how empty the couch is right now. If only I had two other JMods who would join me right now. I'm going to make it cringe-worthy. Thank you very much. Brazy, thank you for joining. And Raven,
Hello.
We are going to talk a bit about something that we will be releasing in the future, and hopefully very soon. Herblore. What can we say about that?
Herblore, farming Herblore.
Yeah, I mean, we've got quite a lot to speak about today, to be honest.
So it is, of course, farming and Herblore together in the range out of time, but we will be focusing on Herblore today.
Yeah, we've got a lot to cover in Herblore alone.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. And then next week we will be digging into the range out of time and farming 120.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the potions?
Yeah, we can get right into it, really. Yeah, so I think so. Last time we were on, we had the slideshow of all the concept art we showed at RuneFest. So yeah, we can get right into it. We can talk about. So I've on my list, I've got sort of the general potions first.
Yeah.
Overloads. So everyone's interested about the Elder Overloads and the Elder Overload Salve. I wanted to clarify some of the ingredients that we had last time. So the ingredients that we first announced, I've announced in a tweet that it would use a few potions. We changed that now to be Primal Extract, which is one of the new, I guess, produce you can get from farming 120.
Yep.
And Fellstock. So it'll be Fellstock, Primal Extract, and a Supreme Overload, which we'll use to make an Elder Overload.
Yeah.
To make an Elder Overload Salve, you'll need to use the exact same things plus your normal like anti-fires and anti-poisons and stuff.
Okay.
For anybody who already has a Supreme Overload Salve in their bank, all they'll need to use is a Primal Extract and a Fellstock.
Cool. I love how everyone's saying panic buy and everything at the moment.
Panic buy. I mean, we've got quite a few ingredients to reveal. So
everyone move to GE now, quick.
Yeah. So I can also reveal that they unlock at level 106 and 107.
Okay.
So that's the Elder Overload at 106 and the Elder Overload Salve at 107.
Sounds good.
So it's a relatively low bar on the grand scale of things.
Well, yeah, there's quite a few potions which are...
Yeah.
But
Yep.
106 is still not nothing.
Well, no, it's not nothing, but it's not 120 either.
Cool.
Yeah, weapon poison plus. That's 3 pluses.
Creative name in there.
Yeah, we
still very
It follows
happy
the
with
theme. It's vitally important that we follow the naming conventions.
I mean, we struggled a bit with the Elder Overload, right?
Yeah,
we had a Supreme. It's like, can we go for Supreme?
There's quite a lot of inconsistencies between all of the potions in our game. Yeah. Like we go super extreme. Sorry, we go normal, super extreme, but then sometimes we'll use things like Supreme, or we'll have plus. Like we do with anti-poisons and poisons. So we had a few things like we could have called it Grandmaster or...
Yeah, we were going to call it, what was it? I think it was like Supreme Poison or something originally, and then we went, nah.
Yeah.
Let's just stick
with
with the theme of pluses. It's that very, I hate the term, but RuneScape-y kind of ridiculousness. So
yeah, exactly.
It sort of works.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be an unlock at level 100.
Okay. The first thing you will unlock after 99.
After 99, yeah. It's not the first thing that you unlock from the new potions that we're bringing out, but yeah, it's quite early on.
Okay. What do I need for that, if I want to make that?
I didn't write it down. And
you even asked me to ask about the ingredients. Okay, well then we'll keep that a secret. I won't mind that.
Yeah.
Are you trying to grind your gears?
I don't think it was anything particularly like rare or heavy or anything to get. It's quite easy to get the ingredients for it.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to spiritual prayer then?
Yep. At level 110, you unlock the spiritual prayer potion. Cool. So that's basically a combination potion with a prayer pot and a summoning pot. Mm-hmm. It does the exact same as those would do, but in the same inventory slot. And what's nice about it is you only use a 4 dose of each, so you get 6 doses out of it, which is also a little bit of a plus as well. The ingredients for that are pretty self-explanatory: a crystal flask and the 2 potions. Cool. We have some new cooking potions that we spoke about. I believe we spoke about at RuneFest. Could be wrong.
I think so.
But to make the new Primal Feast.
Yeah, we vaguely mentioned them.
Did we? Okay.
I'm pretty sure we saw
only in passing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. To make the new Primal Feast, you'll need a high cooking level. So we've made a regular, super, and extreme cooking potion similar to the ones that came with player-owned farms. Mm-hmm. They'll be made using
the primal extract at one point, I believe. You'll need to use it in order to make the primal feast, which is the new best in slot food, coming with farming 120. Yeah.
To be clear, these don't just boost you up to level 99. These take you over that, don't they? So
Yeah, I think
this is to make the feast. You have to have more than the max level via these. Potions.
Yeah. I think it takes you to level 116 currently, and the primal feast is pretty up close to 116.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah. So we got the harvest potion as well. The harvest potion, we briefly spoke about mega produce at RuneFest as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the harvest potion is a potion that you drink, and then for about, I think it's 6 minutes, you're able to go around farming patches and harvest what would be normal crops as mega versions of them. So it's things like potatoes turn into sweet potatoes, watermelons turn into golden watermelon.
Yep.
Sweet corn turns into rainbow sweet corn, etc., etc. And that will all go into making the new primal starter, main, and desserts, which go into making.
Could it also work the other way around, or not?
How,
What?
what?
Never mind.
What
Okay,
way?
we'll continue.
Yeah, but that's unlocked at level 95.
I said nothing there. That's good. Charming potion. Then let's move on quickly.
The charming potion. So I think when me and Mother Ryan were on stream last time, we spoke about its effect. I just want to clarify that it gives 1 extra charm at a base.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't double any charms or anything. It takes the base, adds 1. Whatever happens with that base afterwards, such as that, if you have an effect that doubles that will work.
Okay.
But it just adds an extra charm to the base.
All right.
That unlocks at level 102, and
I really like how you've learned all these levels.
I haven't learned them. They're on a piece of paper.
Oh, I want to give you a compliment here.
There's far too much to remember. So that's unlocked at level 102.
You should see his background on his PC. It's filled with sticky notes at the moment. It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really good.
The next one is Extreme Prayer.
Cool.
That's unlocked at level 117, so that's quite high up there. That's made using a super prayer pot and one of the new Dino Farm produce.
Yeah.
One thing that we've actually done is a little bit of quality of life, is we've made super prayers easier to make. So currently what you need to do is get some wyvern bones, go to the ectofunctus, crush them, turn them into bone meal, and then use it to make the super prayer potions.
Yeah.
That's quite a clunky and slow method. So what we've done now is you're now able to just crush them in your inventory, basically, turn them into dust and use them for the potions straight away. You can still use your bone meal, so if anybody has bone meal in their bank right now, don't worry about it. You can use either bone meal or the crushed dust version of the bones. You can use both in the same inventory if you really want to make extreme prayer, to make super prayer. Sorry.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And shall we move on to that shiny golden thing on that last kind of weird potion area, which they call the Blessed Flask?
The Blessed Flask. So that's not necessarily a potion.
It's not a potion.
It's not a potion. It's a special flask that you'll make. It's it uses what we call a masterwork process, basically, which is a nice way of saying it's going to take you a hell of a long time and a lot of resources.
Now, can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
Someone asked about the potion bombs. We'll get to that in a minute. No worries.
Yeah. We've got a lot to cover.
There's a lot in this skill.
There is. Yeah.
There'll be a lot of stuff coming to you.
Yep. So you get the blessed. Sorry, you're able to make the Blessed Flask at level 118. It will take you a long time. I believe Mother Ryan tweeted about getting harmonic dust. So if anybody's watching right now wants to get sort of ready for it, I believe you'll need 5,000 harmonic dust for it. You also need some harmonic dust for archaeology as well, which Mother Ryan tweeted about. I believe that's 4,000, just for anybody who wants a heads up there. The Blessed Flask, basically, in essence, is a flask that holds charges of extreme prayer potions. I can't remember exactly how many charges it was. I don't want to say a number in case it's wrong, but it's in the hundreds, I believe, of at least doses.
Yeah.
And what it
Quite
means,
a few.
Yeah.
Let's stick to that. Quite a few.
Yeah. And what it means is basically you can fill your.
Someone is spamming a number in chat here, but flying ramen.
It's Mod Ramen. You can store. Is it 20?
Okay.
He says 20.
20 potions.
So we'll stick for 20 for now. If it's wrong, all blame Mod Ramen.
It's 20 potions, so 20 times 4 doses. So that's what, 80 doses?
80.
Yeah, 80.
You did your maths right.
Yeah. Don't want to make myself look like a fool on stream. Quick math. So you'll be able to store all of your extreme potions. It's a convenience item. So rather than having to take multiple prayer potions per inventory, you can just take one item basically and just click on it every so often to refill your prayer.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Then moving on to this potion bombs.
Bombs,
thing.
yeah.
Can you explain first a bit what the concept of it is? Because I think that's like, it's a new thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk into that, talk about that a bit first.
Yeah. So it's a new type of potion that you can make with Herblore. It's in the early level bands of Herblore. And once you've made them, basically any time you're in combat, you can throw them at enemies. So there's a nice animation where you throw it. I think we actually have a GIF to show. This is me using it.
Trap.
Oh, there you go. So this is me using it from the action bar, throwing it at a location, and it drops down a 3x3 grid of smoke, which affects enemies with whatever bomb you threw. So we've got the poison bomb, vulnerability bomb, and sticky bomb. All of those are kind of self-explanatory. The sticky bomb binds enemies for a short period of time. So the effect sticks around for around 6 seconds for the poison and sticky bomb. The vulnerability bomb has a shorter time on the floor, but their effects stick around for as long as they usually would. So vulnerability still affects the enemy for 1 minute or 60 seconds. Those are unlocked at level 99, 101, and 103. And we'll touch a little bit later on about the leveling benefits. But yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, they'll be useful for various bits of combat, maybe even Slayer, depending on how expensive they are and how people want to use them.
Are we able to reveal any of the ingredients for a couple of them?
So all of the ingredients are new. Like the poison bomb. The poison bomb uses things like a weapon poison ++, I believe. But other than that, like
we'll use new items.
They'll use new items from farming 120. So that's things that you get from dinosaurs and things like that. Again, they'll use like vulnerability. We'll use the vulnerability runes. So there's no surprise there and things that go into that. But they mostly use new stuff. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I also have a note about adrenaline potions being in line.
I believe that's for power burst actually. But
then I did the copying wrong. No, okay, I was wrong in the end. I was already a bit confused.
This is why I sent you a Word document, but oh well.
Whoa, hold on, my friend. Cool. Shall we go into, like, we're going to release a skill. It's going from 99 to 120.
Yep.
I've got 2 questions, I think. What's the benefits of leveling it? And then secondly, will we have a skill unlock on each of the levels?
So the benefits to training 99 to 120, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to unlock new types of potions.
Yeah.
That's bombs and power bursts.
Of course, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then enhancements to most current potions. So that's your overloads, the weapon poison. What other ones in enhancement? The extreme prayer, for example. And then there's a few new things in there as well, like the charming potion and spiritual prayer potion. It's mostly enhancements to current potions plus new types of potions, which will hopefully add to combat and skilling as well. As for unlocks every level, yes. We'll list a few, so I'm assuming in the TLDW later on, whoever is Suti or Rubik will be able to list out what those are, but there's also a few that
Thank you for that.
We won't exactly name as well. You'll see on the day of release, but every level has an unlock. Some of those are leveling benefits as well, which will either change the GP per XP or XP per hour. So it does affect how you train throughout 99 to 120.
Cool. I had it as a question for the end, but I think it's probably worth asking right now.
Sure.
So a lot of the Herblore methods right now are quite high engagement. Will there be a very AFK method added as part of this?
No, we aren't adding any new methods of training. We're keeping it quite.
We're not really changing the fundamental nature of what the skill is. Like one of the things that we've done with both farming and with Herblore is we wanted to make sure that we were keeping the skill identity the same. And one of the core identities of Herblore is, that expensive, that time-consuming method. So that will remain. What we're giving you is a bunch of new things you can do with it.
To spice it up.
Interesting, fun ways of doing it. And there's like meta and working out the most efficient methods within those. But yeah, we're not changing how the skill is made.
Cool.
Yep. Someone,
Yeah.
sorry, someone quickly asked a question about grace periods for the 2 skills going to 120. There will be, I believe, a 6-month grace period for both of them on the comp cape. There will be a couple other achievements that may or may not have grace periods for comp and trim as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to inert crystals?
Yeah. So again, at RuneFest, we spoke about making adrenaline crystals nicer to obtain because we've seen quite a bit of feedback regarding them. So what we've done is we've created a new item called an inert crystal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a new drop that we've added to a variety of bosses. Bosses and monsters.
Yeah.
On my list here, I've got Rise of the Six, QBD, the Legionaries. I don't know how you
I would say legions.
Legios. The Raptor Chest, Living Wyverns, and Rune Dragons. There's a few more scattered around as well.
Okay.
So basically what happens is you'll get this inert adrenaline crystal, which is essentially an empty crystal.
Mm-hmm.
You'll use...
You don't have to go into the wildy for it.
You don't have to go into the wildy, no.
Good.
You'll be able to use Primal Extract and one of the new produce from the Anachronia farm, and turn it into an adrenaline crystal.
Cool.
What the drop rates are, I can't really reveal right now, primarily because I don't know them. I'm sure at some point we'll be able to say what
probably
they are.
elaborate on that at some point.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But what it means is that it's a little bit nicer to make, so hopefully make them more common and make super adrenaline potions a little bit cheaper to use, to make and use, which is especially important because they're going into a power burst as well.
Cool. All right. I think we've got that topic, and I think it's always about the skill K perks in the end.
Yeah.
Can you recap that?
Should we go over power burst first before we get to
Have you missed the power burst?
to the end? You really did skip over, didn't you?
Okay, power burst. I'll go.
I thought I'm tired, but
Wow.
Okay, talk about power burst. Never mind. I'm terrible.
yeah. So power bursts are the other new types of potions. We revealed 3 throughout. Well, since RuneFest and the stream.
I've really missed that. That's terrible.
We revealed Adrenaline Movement and the double HP power bursts. We finally have nice names for them now.
Oh, that's good.
So the Adrenaline one is called the Power Burst of Overkill. The HP doubling one is called the Power Burst of Vitality, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And the Movement one is called the Power Burst of Acceleration. So I'll quickly go over them. The Power Burst of Adrenaline gives you, I think it's 4% adrenaline over the course of 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So that will just tick up. We've got a GIF of that as well, actually. I just remembered.
Do.
Yeah, this is me using the Power Burst of Overkill. And you'll see my adrenaline slowly ticks up to 40%. As we mentioned last time, if you're using that in conjunction with a Ring of Vigor, just after using an ultimate, you'll go straight back up to 50% adrenaline on top of using basics and stuff quite fast, which is really nice.
It is really good.
Yeah, that's really cool. The Power Burst of Movement, not movement.
How many ticks does it take to go to 40%? Do you know that by any chance?
However many ticks are in 6 seconds. 10? 10 ticks. 10 ticks.
10 ticks.
For every tick. Yeah.
Cool. Just
yeah. The Power Burst.
we're doing a lot of maths today. I like it. It's good.
We are.
I wasn't prepared for this maths.
No, I wasn't either.
I was like, I got this down.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm being put on the spot. The Power Burst of Acceleration will give you unlimited surge and bladed dive for 6 seconds. We've had to sort of cap that and do some weird stuff with it so that it doesn't look very weird and spammy. Once this project releases, I'll be able to post a GIF of what it looked like when it was in production,
that was
and it looked absolutely wacky as hell. And then the Power Burst of Vitality, which doubles your HP. That doubles your base and current HP. Sorry, your base and your current HP for 6 seconds as well.
Cool. Yeah, no, I really liked how the initial speech.
Yeah, I mean, we showed it off in a company-wide, well, it wasn't company-wide, but team-wide stream.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
And we got some very 50-50 reactions of some people going, I love this.
How long did it take you to go across the desert again? Someone did like a time trial.
I think I managed to get from one end of the desert to the other in that 6 seconds using bladed dive. That was quite fun.
So half the people were like, this is amazing. And half the people were like, no!
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So the other ones, I can reveal one more power burst for now. I'll leave the other two for later. We've got the power burst of feats. That's not feet with double E. That's feet.
That's what I
as in
understood as
EA.
well, though.
Yeah, EA. And that power burst for 6 seconds, I believe, is the number right now. Will let you spam your special moves from your summoning familiar with no cost to your summoning points. That's all.
All right. I like that.
Yeah. And then the other ones, I'll reveal their names. It's the Power Burst of Master Stroke and the Power Burst of Sorcery. But I'll leave the effects for release.
Good luck figuring out what it does.
Yeah. Give me your best thoughts.
Yeah.
Give me your I'd be interested to see what people think they mean on Reddit or Twitter. Or,
tweet your guesses
Discord.
at Breezy.
God.
Or Jagex Breezy. That would be fun.
Jagex Breezy.
Cool. Then we can finally move on to the skill K perk.
We can, but just before that, we'll go back to the first thing you said.
I want you to talk about the skill K perk. Come on.
No.
I'm just laughing at the chat has already begun with the Master Stroke.
Yeah, there's some, Mod Osborne came up with some of these names. And some of them, we had quite a big list. Some of them were quite questionable. But this is where we end up.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, before we move on to the next part, what you mentioned earlier about adrenaline potions.
Yes.
Because one of these potions is the Power Burst of Overkill and is an adrenaline potion, it is going to have a cooldown. So earlier on the GIF as well, you'll have seen that as soon as I drink the Power Burst of Overkill, it puts me on a 2-minute cooldown for adrenaline potions. That affects all Power Bursts, so we've brought adrenaline potions in line with that as well.
Cool.
Yeah. And now we can move on.
Now, I've got a question for you.
What's that?
What is the skill cake perk going to be?
So the skill cake perk, we've already revealed. That's going to be, you'll be able to make 5 overloads at the cost of 4.
Yes.
So the current maximum you can have in your inventory for, I believe it's overloads and supremes, is 4 potions worth of ingredients. With the Herblore 120 skill cape, you'll be able to use all 4 ingredients, or use all 4 potions worth of ingredients, and get an extra overload or supreme overload. That's extended to the elder overload as well.
Okay,
that doesn't work
that's
on
quite
any of the other sort of overloads.
Okay.
Apart from those 3, but it saves about 20%.
25.
In 20%. 20%. Yep.
You win the math test. I'm out as well.
The stream's not over yet. Who knows what else comes up? But yeah, that's that.
Cool. I've had Nico write down a couple of questions from the chat. Thank you, by the way, for coming on and telling me everything about this. One of the questions is, are we getting an X-Men's event? Yes, we are. Are any of the new Herblore potions going to benefit skillers, like Skiller Reload, or are we going to just...
So actually, the two power bursts that I didn't reveal actually are for skilling.
Nice.
Yeah, just like the combat-focused ones, they are still specific to skills. But I guess in the future there's always room to expand. Now, that's not a commitment that I'm making right now, but there's always room to expand on that. Again, you'll see what those are on release.
I've got a question here which we'll probably save for next week. Will there be any shiny variants of each of the new wrench critters?
Yes.
And if so,
yes. And they
we get any hints? They want the hints.
They look.
Of course they're going to be, but they want to see the hints. So maybe
I can give you the names of some of them if that helps.
You give a name. I don't think it's going to be of much use.
We have Pavosaurus lucidum. We have Luminous Judinkos. We have, unless someone's changed it, Witchfire Salamanders. Most of them follow a very similar naming thing. We've got Askia Tops Lucidum as well. Yeah.
Man, we had a maths lesson and now we're having a Latin lesson.
I mean, it's a Google Translate Latin lesson. But, I don't speak Latin. Apart from stupid phrases I'm not going to repeat.
Fair enough.
You've already addressed this one, but just repeat it because why not? Around what level would you be able to make the Blessed Flask?
The Blessed Flask is level 118.
Okay, 118.
Yes, level 118.
I was thinking 116 if I had to guess it, but I wasn't sure, so I thought I would ask you. It's good.
Actually, I just remembered the XP rates is something that a lot of people have been asking about. We've said that they're going to be fair, and they will be. Obviously, 120 should still be a grind in either the form of time or commitment, investment. So Herblore, you can expect it. You know, it's a Bible skill. It's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
To a degree, but I believe at the higher end, around level 115 to 116, the XP rates are about 2.5 to 3 mil an hour base. So that's not including any other bonuses that you might get from pulse cores, double XP, bonus XP, etc. But 2.5 mil to 3 mil XP is around.
It's not bad.
What you'll get per hour.
Can't complain about that, I think. Good.
I don't think so.
This is also more related to farming, I believe. Can 120 farming add the ability to grow Goragian mushrooms and polymorph fungus?
So
maybe an upgraded polymorph staff.
I don't know about the staff, which is a bit.
Let's just step in and say no, not at this stage. No.
No. All right. The answer is no. This is an answer.
In future, maybe, but we're not doing it at this point with this update.
Yeah.
I'm not against the idea of upgrading weapons and stuff via skilling like these methods. I think it's an interesting thing to explore maybe in future, but I'm just going to put the kibosh on that now. It's not going to be a thing we do now.
Yeah.
If that's an answer that works. I'm just asking the questions for the chat, all right? You don't have to be apologetic to me. So
the first part of the question was about growing fungus. Was that?
Goragian fungus. Goragian.
So
I've struggled to pronounce that even.
Goragian, I think.
Yeah. Well, get that word.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's probably. So I know like people use Goragian mushrooms or bitter cap mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's the one that's called where you grow in Mauritania? I forgot, but they're used to feed zygomites. So one of this is creeping into the next stream that we're going to do, but
yeah, I know.
One of the new farming plants that we have is the tomb shroom.
Mm-hmm.
Coming with farming 120, and that's going to let you harvest a lot of mushrooms at once, which is helpful for zygomites.
I'll help you out, pal.
For feeding zygomites, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, Marshmallow mushroom spores. There we go. That's it.
Thank you all for joining. Next week we're going to have a look at farming 120. I heard there was an interest from the audio team to also come on, so maybe we can listen to something cool. I'll see if we can get some artists. We'll figure out something nice. And then we're going to talk about farming in a range out of time next week. So for now, I was very tempted to say what Shawnee says, but I can't do that. I don't want to do that either. Love you, Shawnee, if you're watching. But yeah, we'll see you all next time. Have a good one. Oh, fuck, no. That's still said that partially. That's partially. Never mind. See you all later. Have a good... What else can you say? To say goodbye. Have a good one is like the Shawnee thing, though.
Goodbye. Thank you for watching.
Goodbye. Thank you for watching.